So we've had a rough couple of days in a good way. Three big product launches, actually, if you include the fact that there's divergence with the Pro. You've been using the Pro, Abner.
Mm-hmm.
I've just received my XL in the mail from the Google Store UK. How are you getting on with the Google Pixel 9 Pro?
So, 9 Pro, it's what I wanted in terms of a size with all the Pro features. It is a telephoto, a lovely, powerful telephoto in a smallish, I call it compact form factor. Finally, if I've been waiting for this since the Pixel 3, even the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL had divergences in terms of the look and feel and that notch. The Pixel 2 obviously had the design changes, so the original Pixel was really the one that offered two sizes, mostly same hardware, and it's a return.
I think my personal opinion was that this could be the sleeper hit. The middle one could be the one that people want. Pro, they want all of the benefits of the Pro model in the smaller body, but I don't know. I think the reception has been a bit different.
People always say that. They, I guess the most charitable view is that people want the choice of having a small phone, but when it comes down to the wire, they always pick the big one, and that totally makes sense. It's your most important device. You use it the most. You want the biggest screen, so that totally makes sense. But I guess the high level of my review was, if you want a small phone, if you want Google to keep making more phones, this is the one to get. The Pixel 9 Pro is the one to get, and I don't think you'll have any regrets buying this one.
Yeah, I think if you do want a smaller device, this is the one. The hardware's incredible. I can't deny that the hardware is very, very good. But as someone who's come from big phones, and I do have big hands, I have found using the Pro, because I have had the Pro for a week at this point, just over a week. I think for me, the XL is a much more comfortable prospect, and I haven't yet opened a package in. I need to get into it and get my SIM in there for the full review in the next few weeks. But I definitely think there's something about the regular Pro that I can. There's definitely a secret sauce there, and obviously the smaller size is beneficial. I don't know if how you feel about the regular 9 as a result of the Pro existing. I'm kind of confused now, because the base model being within the price range, we're within a ballpark, right? Within $200. I think you're basically having to choose between, do I want telephoto or do I not want telephoto for $200?
Yeah.
And I wonder if that might put people off, but at the same time,
telephoto
as well,
is the difference. The difference between actual and super actual display in terms of peak brightness, I don't think that's significant. You have design changes from matte rails to glossy rails, with matte being nicer. That's another difference. But the most tangible difference is the battery. Is a telephoto. That's the difference. And I think a telephoto does sell itself in terms of, I can zoom in better. I think that's a key difference. But $200 worth that cuts it a bit more. The Pixel 9 is a nice again, same form factor, same body. It's a perfectly nice phone, but I think it's too expensive by $100.
Yeah, I do think I think it's one of those things. I think if you use the Pixel 9 and you've used the Pixel 9 Pro, you will probably agree with that sentiment that it is a little bit too expensive. I think the Pixel 9 is very much the most confusing base model that Google has released, because the Pro exists. I think if there was when we start to get discounts, because there's going to be discounts towards the end of the year.
Absolutely.
I think the Pixel 9, if it hits that $500 mark, it's a no-brainer. It's a really good product for its price point.
That's aggressive.
Do you think it'll ever reach 500? I have a feeling.
When's your time frame for 500?
I think by Black Friday, we'll have been 3 months into the lifespan of the device. From
200.
Yeah, I think we could hit 500. And there's been some incredible trading deals, and when we start to look at the trading deals,
trading, especially with trading, that's easy with trading. That's easy, but I don't know. I think 100 is how much we'll get by Black Friday. I don't think we reach 150 until the new year. 100, 200 seems aggressive to me, unless there's like a really special, and it could be describing Black Friday, could be a special limited time thing that's only for a few days.
I think it's one of those confusing elements of the Pixel 9 series wholesale. Like, we're both discussing the price point, and I think if you get it on a pre-order deal, I can only talk from the US perspective that I've been seeing, and I've been very, very jealous. If you have an iPhone 12 or a 12 Pro, trade it in, get a free Pixel 9, you get obviously 6 months of Gemini and all of the benefits of Gemini Advanced. I think it's a really good product for that price point. You're also then expanding your technical support window by 7 years from an old iPhone, which is now, I believe the 12 is still supported. I mean, it's more of an existential question. How long do you need a phone supported for? But I think that's a really good deal if you can get the pre-order deals with Best Buy and stuff. As for the 9, it is a good product, but again, I'm still confused by it a little bit. I think, but then when I start to align that with how Apple have their lineups, it feels very in lockstep with that. I know a lot of people online have been saying,
yes, but
it feels confusing. They have the 15, the 15 Plus,
Apple,
the 15 Pro, the 15 Pro Max.
Has an audience for the base phone. I don't. This is on the assumption that Pixel is still a more enthusiast brand. But I guess if you go into a carrier and you want a Pixel, you find the base one. But even the Pixel, the more casual Pixel owners I know, they go for the Pro. So I don't know what the market is for the base phones at this point, at this price.
Yeah, it does seem a bit. It could be a clever move by Google to push people to the Pro tier, and that would mean that more people use Gemini, more people use all of the features that come with the Pro tier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be kind of good in some respects, but at the same time, where does the regular Pixel 9 go from here? Where does the regular... what does it do to the A series? Does the A series start to undercut even more and the price has crept up over there?
The A series cannot pass $500 at this point. That'd be
But
wild.
This is a thing where I'm very confused that if Google keeps that, I think it would make more sense to discount the current generation than try and have an A series device, unless you do it at like $300, $400, and keep it around that price point. It's only over the last couple of days I've really been thinking about this a bit more because I've used the Pro and the 9 in tandem, and it very much feels whenever I use the 9, I'm always thinking, well, I could have the telephoto, I could have some of the extra features, I could have that slightly better screen, and you can see them. Obviously, I'm seeing them side by side. You would be very happy with the Pixel 9 screen, but I feel like the Pixel 9 Pro feels like having your cake and eating it with that small phone, 100%. And it is an excellent addition to the lineup, and I hope that it continues moving forward, even if it doesn't make the same sales impact that the XL will. I've seen a lot of people going for the XL on my timelines and speaking to people. And
agreed.
I don't think if you're an ardent Pixel fan, obviously if you get trade-in as well, you're not necessarily... I don't think as many people are put off by the prices I would have expected. I thought tons of people would be hating on that price point, and I do, to be quite honest.
It's no, I don't. Yeah, it's this ever-creeping... It is what it is at this point, and it is unfortunate. Especially when we look at it in the context of the A series and the base 9, but unfortunate, just unfortunate.
Yeah. So how do you feel in terms of like the color lineup? Because this is one of the things where I was a little bit disappointed with the Pro.
Hazel is just grey. For the Pixel 8, I used the hazel because the lovely mint wasn't out until January. And I thought that was grey, and I couldn't think I would not have said Google could have made it grayer, but they somehow made it much more gray. There's barely a hint of green anywhere, and this is just a boring, staid. I can't with this color and with this lack of fun color. How are you feeling about the borders, about the shiny bezels, shiny rails?
Okay, so visually looks amazing. I can't deny that it looks really, really nice.
Yes, and if you
practically, I despise it. I just think so. I'm very much of the opinion that if I start to get micro scratches and scuffs and dings on things, this is such a bad consumerist take. It feels devalued to me, and I can't get away from that. I'm a child of the 90s. We're capitalists through and through. Buy everything and just like destroy the planet. Basically, I'm trying to reverse that, but I just think it would have made more sense if Google could have easily do the matte rails and make it look good. I think Samsung does it very well. Samsung's done it well with their titanium and their devices. They do a really nice matte rail and then don't have the glossy back. Like, I think there must be a reason for it. There must be a reason for them deciding to have shiny rails. Do you think it's the illusion of premium?
Yes, absolutely. It's they feel like as a premium device, they have to distinguish it in a premium manner, and I just want to say explicitly to them, you don't. The functionality of matte rails is so much nicer. If you notice, this is such an interesting detail. The sidewall of the Pixel camera bar is also shiny to match the rails. And yes, nice on paper, but at the same time, if you want to start cutting the price, you can start there. That's a flourish that I don't really think is necessary.
Yeah, then again, we're probably in the minority in that most people were going to throw the phone in a case anyway. They're not going to go and have something unprotected. And don't get me wrong, I have had my phone in a case on and off throughout my little time using it. But I just think the worst thing is, for the first time in a few years, particularly with the 8 series as well, I thought the same with that. The phones feel absolutely incredible out of a case, and this one even more so. Yeah, sure. Why not make it such that the phone, if you're going to use it, make it more durable without having a case on it? Because people want to see the phone. They want to show the Google, obviously, from a, in air quotes, like guerrilla marketing standpoint. The more people that have the phone out in public and using it without a case, people are going to take notice. I don't know. It is a strange one, but I guess, how do you pressure companies into not doing it? I guess you can't. They're going to make those decisions anyway. I think a lot of people probably going to hate I think it's going to be a 50-50 split on this glossy side rails thing. But I think even more so, the new camera bar. What do you think about the new camera bar? Because I don't know how I feel about it, to be quite honest.
I don't think I've really felt the difference. It's compared to the 8, which again, I love that design language. It's my main comment about the camera bar is how tall it is, but beyond that, I think I don't really feel it anymore. And I use the Pixel the Pixel 8 was the camera bar was flush. It went into the frame, and that's where I like to place my finger. I don't quite have that with this one, but it's, I don't know, I've kind of not touched it.
Yeah, it's just, it is what it is, I guess. I understand the design language of it, and you notice it. I think that's one of the best things about the camera bar in general is it looks, you can see it from a mile away. I think with the case, it's a little bit, I think this one is a little bit more, it blends into the crowd a little bit more. It looks a bit like kind of Samsung-y from far away, when the Samsung had them had the S10, S9 series where the cameras are in the middle of the back. And I think with this one, it's a bit more like once you have a case on it, everything looks flush and it's kind of blends into the crowd a bit more. I think I kind of like the idea of having that visor all the way along and it being a really integral part of the frame. And I'm sure there's some frame strengthening arguments to that, but it does. It's it's kind of an obvious evolution. From a design perspective, it makes sense to me. I can understand why they've gone for this particular design because it ties in with the rest of Android and the bubbliness that they're going for. And there's not much more I can say about the camera bar. I'm just going to kind of deal with it, I think.
Yeah.
So in terms of we've had. What do you think about the software features then? Because I know that there's been a lot made of them online, and obviously the review fallout. What do you think so far? I mean, I've been using Gemini Live, and I must admit I've been fairly impressed with some of it, even though I'm still worried about the data being accurate. But yeah, what have you been using and how you've been getting on?
Gemini Live shows promise in how you can do a two-way conversation that is real time, that is interactive, that allows you to take pauses and all that. But in terms of the actual functionality I think of it as having a talking encyclopedia. I'm not into that. I just not that type of person. I rather read Wikipedia if I want to know about something.
Are you one of those people like me where you'll be watching TV, you'll be doing anything, I'll go out somewhere and I'll see something and all of a sudden I get into Wikipedia research brain and I have to go and do it. So what I've tried to do is, over the last couple of weeks, since I didn't have a Gemini Advanced plan until Pixel 9. I didn't see the utility in my day-to-day existence, but I've been trying to speak to Gemini Live more. So I've done things like ask it about transfer rumours in football. And it's been pretty good at that, to be quite honest. Some of it, again,
when are you doing that?
Anyway,
when are you talking? In what context? Are you at home? Are you out? When are you talking to it?
I've only done it at home so far because I have a feeling it will be weird until at least the Pixel Buds Pro 2 arrive and I can talk in the street and it doesn't look weird. If I'm stood talking to my phone, then again, actually thinking about it, most people will just assume you're on a phone call, right? So
okay, when you're on the go and you need to know about something, sure, I can see the value. But it's not fast enough. After like 2 sentences, I just want to see the full transcript and start reading it. It's not the most efficient way to consume information. And I get that it isn't supposed to be. It's supposed to be talking and interactive, but that's my thing with it right now.
The people that I've shown it, though, have been impressed. So they've been like, oh, who are you talking to? Not what are you talking to? Which
interesting.
I guess is quite interesting. So yeah, I set this up on purpose to see what would happen. So as my girlfriend came home a couple of days ago, I just decided to have a long conversation with Gemini. And so when she came through the door from work, I was in a conversation with Gemini and Gemini was feeding me answers. And her instant thought, she sent me a message because she thought I was in a call, was saying, who are you talking to? And I was like, oh no, come look at this. And then we just kind of had a little bit of a back and forth with Gemini, just interesting stuff like, we're looking to book a vacation. So it was a case of learning about the areas that we would like to go. And it did give some good answers. Like we'd already done the pre-research. So there was a little bit of like, we can verify it if that makes sense. But if I'm just learning about something new for the first time, I'm very, very wary that you get hallucinations, you get incorrect information. And a bit like you, I'd just rather go to Wikipedia or to the page that I need to go to read the dedicated info.
So what I'm waiting for is Gemini extension support, which has been Google said it's coming. They explicitly say that during the setup process too. So I really wish they prioritized that first, but it is what it is. And yeah, Gemini extensions with the ability to access music, to ask about your emails, that will be powerful. And I cannot wait for that to be more of an assistive experience.
I can definitely see the value in things like smart home, like asking really, really specific things and then automating those with Gemini. So, for instance, asking to turn a light on at 7:05 p.m. or turn on the fan at like 3 p.m. Like those are the kind of things that because obviously as much as I have a lot of things in smart home, setting up those automations manually is quite frustrating and sometimes they don't work perfectly, right? So I feel like if I could say to Gemini, for instance, even if it was something ridiculous, like in 3 weeks' time, turn on the light at 4 p.m. Like, I want to be able to do something ridiculous like that and have AI handle it for me, because having to set them up manually is really frustrating. And I think that's where we could see some like really cool stuff come out of Gemini. But like you said, the integrations need to be put in place to begin with. What in terms of like, I'm really intrigued to what you mean by emails, because I know a lot of people have been saying this, but how would that differ from getting a voice?
How many unread emails do I have?
Okay.
Yeah, basically that. Summarize my inbox, that kind of stuff.
Have you not been doing that already though, without the voice prompts?
Well, yeah, you can do that now. It's just, if you want to do it over voice, with inside the Gemini Live experience.
The more I think we chat this out, the more I think we're trying to find an application for this in our day-to-day existence. So maybe we don't necessarily need Gemini Live, as impressive as it can be, as much as maybe we thought we did.
We need a next-gen assistant. That's a Google Assistant on phones. That's a technological dead end, obviously.
So moving on to like other AI-powered features, screenshots.
How have you taken to screenshots?
How have I taken to it? Most of my screenshots are like pointless, so I've not really been using them.
So my thing is, with Pixel screenshots without AI alone is a brilliant idea. It's a dedicated place for screenshots, something everybody does. That's where a lot of information is stored. And I'm loving it just as an app that shows you all your screenshots and the important ability to make collections, to group them. That's been fantastic. Reminders even. That has been a great thing. That's faster than Google Keep, than making a photo note there. It's the Pixel screenshots sans AI, brilliant idea. So when you add AI, the summarization and the search thing, that adds another layer. It's a good demo of Gemini Nano, I think. But again, to me, the fundamental idea of making an app just for screenshots, to group, to categorize, that's just a fantastic idea to me. And I'm using it to just group stuff.
Yeah, I think the collections thing's really cool. But again, my biggest problem is I don't take screenshots very often of useful things. And I guess if you're just using it for kind of collections, I think that's great. I agree with you. I think it's good. It gets it out of the Photos application, which I think it seems to have removed the screenshots.
It's still there.
Well, makes it difficult to find on my device. Anyway, maybe I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that's a different redesign.
Yeah, I think the screenshots app is good because you have a separate section for screenshots. You can do all the sharing, what you need to do, and there's no like fluff in between. Can I see myself using it more extensively? I hope so, because some of the...
It's the grouping thing. Once you really get into the grouping, the thing is, you have to, after you take the screenshot, you immediately group it. That's a second brain kind of thing. If you forget to, you're never going to group it again. But that's my thing so far.
I think it would be kind of good for things like taking screenshots of tickets and that kind of stuff, that may be the ones that you can't add to your Google Wallet, for instance. I know there's quite a few in the UK you still can't add to Google Wallet for some reason. And being able to like keep them safe and keep them categorized is useful. I'm a little bit worried about the summaries of things, because for the most part they're pretty good. But then sometimes the AI summary will like hallucinate, and you'll get random things interjected into the metadata.
The best is when it just is dumb and just pulls an optical character recognition transcript of it. That's the best use cases. When it's I kind of almost wish there's a setting for how much intelligence it does. But yeah.
Can you foresee screenshots being one of those things that people opt out of? Because I know there's a lot of people been asking me actually when...
yes, you can opt out for the AI. You can easily just toggle, and you can just keep using the app just as folders and grouping. So again, I think fundamentally without AI, Pixel screenshots alone is a great idea. And you don't have to use it without AI.
in terms of like the other applications, then let's get into Studio, because I have some really strange feelings about Studio, because you'll know from some of the funny stuff I've been putting in Slack over the last few days. I want to hate Pixel Studio, but there are some really fun, silly things you can do with it. But at the same time, we had a little bit of controversy with certain
So yeah, let's
terms
get
and stuff.
that. So I've been, my high level on image generation is, I think it's caused, it can never be perfect in that you can always bypass the guardrails. There are not enough guardrails in the world and to make it not output bad stuff, irresponsible stuff. That's my take. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's very much a case of you. This is going to sound disrespectful, but it's not disrespectful. It's just asking a question. It's more rhetorical. So if I suddenly put in an offensive terminology and ask AI to create it, and AI creates it, is that the problem of the AI, or is that the problem of me wanting to push the boundaries of it? I'm not so sure. I think personally, Google probably should have vetted it a little bit better. But at the same time, it does prove that this could potentially be dangerous in future. But at the same time, you've asked it to do something, it's done it, so it proves that it works. I don't know. Again, it's more of a rhetorical type thing.
It's a broader societal issue, absolutely. How have you been liking it?
So for me, I've been doing stupid things like asking for like art of things that, and then in a style. So for instance, I put one on social media the other day. It was Charizard with smoking a cigarette, looking cool in sunglasses, wearing a sports jacket, and it. While it wasn't exactly what I had in my mind, it was about as close as it was going to get, and that kind of stuff's really fun and silly. I think in terms of like
Kyle put it best. It's the best meme generator when you don't really care about perfect fidelity.
Yeah, I think for that, in that aspect, it's really good, and I think sometimes just like for me, I see it as an extension of sticker packs for your phone. Mm-hmm. So like Kyle has said, our colleague Kyle has said memes. I think this is great for that. If you want to send someone. Like even, I like the idea of doing things like a birthday message type thing. Like, let's just take a celebrity or a character. Like let's Pikachu, for example. You could do a birthday card, greeting card with Pikachu on it saying happy birthday to your friend. Like I think it's kind of cool. For meme stuff, it's good, but the text, it's still not great at text. It's better than Copilot in my experience, but it garbles text sometimes and just like kind of puts random characters and it almost looks like it's trying to do dots and ones or ones and zeros sometimes. But I really, really, because I'm not a huge fan of AI art in general, but I think when it's throwaway like this, it's kind of just borderline acceptable to me. I'm still almost on the fence. I kind of want to hate it, but I've had a little bit of fun doing it, like treating it like a sticker pack extension.
So speaking of speaker packs, I think this is the good. There's like two halves to Pixel Studio. There's the pure image generation, and the second half is editing your photos. It is making stickers of things. It's of highlighting things and making stickers of it, like Photomoji in Google Messages. It's being able to resize stuff, to delete stuff. It's basically Magic Editor, but faster to access. And again, the context doesn't matter. It's perfect if you're just sending to a few friends. In that regard, I think Google has Pixel Studio. I'm not sure. Pixel Edit. I don't know. There's a way to spin this to use it without the pure image generation. That's kind of fun. That's kind of useful. That makes it a utility, a tool. So in that regard, I think if they want to abandon the pure image creator stuff, I think there's a path forward for Pixel Studio.
Yeah, I think so. Here's my play. Put it in Gboard. Put Pixel Studio in Gboard and make it part of Gboard. 100%. I think they have GIFs, they have sticker packs. Put it in there, and then or even put it in I can't see it in a better place because it's right there when you want something. You want to send something to a friend, WhatsApp, whatever it is. They may not have the best sticker packs, or they may not have the best custom things, and they already have the emoji kitchen, like this could go above and beyond what emoji kitchen is capable of. I mean, it does.
That's a solid idea.
I mean, it does. I mean, it goes above emoji kitchen, and it could be. It's like you're the chef now. You're not waiting on someone else cooking up the meal. You're cooking it yourself. So, like, I think there's some opportunities there.
Pixel weather.
Yeah.
It's okay. I've seen some interesting discourse about this weather app. So I did not expect to like AI weather summaries, but I've been using them like crazy. So this is, I think, a pretty good use of Gen AI in terms of taking a lot of weather information of weather conditions, of pressure, of humidity, that kind of stuff, and then giving you a one-line sentence for it.
Is that that's the kind of thing you would want from a weather person, isn't it? On TV, they would just say, "Okay, expect this." I like that. Yeah, I do like that aspect of it. I think that makes a lot of sense. And like, so today, where I'm based in the UK, I've had a weather warning. So I had the weather warning on the Pixel at a glance widget. So I clicked it, and it took me through to the Pixel weather app, and it's given me a more overview of the wind warning and the wind weather, because obviously we're getting like 70, 80 mile an hour winds later today.
Ooh.
So it's told me that in a more succinct way, and like, oh, you are potentially in the area that's affected, which I think is really good. I think that's a really good way of doing it, because it ties in that notification for weather warning, and then also gives me a summary of all of the potential places it's going to be and what the risks are.
I see the other side of people being, is this really faster than just looking at the tiles for the weather conditions? To me, I don't know, a sentence, it's brief, it's much faster to digest. And I went into this thinking, I'll just look at the weather conditions. I know what to look for. But no, this one-line sentence to me is like a pretty good example of generative AI, like helping summarizing vast amounts of data into one line, and which you can expand for more bullet points as needed. And I think this is like, it's the smallest example, but I think it's one of the better showcases.
Yeah, it like cuts the crap. That's the best way to describe it. It cuts the crap.
That's a very good way
But
to
at
put
the
it.
same time, that's really disrespectful, because I think the Pixel Weather app is one of Google's most best-looking applications. So it's a little bit of a shame. On one hand, it's amazing. Visually, it looks incredible, and I want to use more of the visual aspects of it. And the other side of it is that the one-sentence summary is better than what the app is doing in terms of like the actual information you need, in air quotes, at a glance. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Again, this is you could argue it's a worry of AI in general. Is AI going to over-summarize everything and simplify to the nth degree? But I guess, hey, does that matter? I think when you get in your weather conditions, you don't care. Do I need an umbrella or not? It's basically what I want to know.
Yeah. So what else is there?
I think the Reimagine tool. Have you been using the Reimagine tool? I've been trying to play around with that as a kind of like, it feels supplementary to Pixel Studio, and I kind of don't know why it's not more integrated. The Reimagine is very interesting because it goes way beyond what we could have done with the original Magic Editor.
This is what's a photo. I almost wish it wasn't in Magic Editor, because I think Magic Editor is something a bit more pure to like make a So Magic Editor to me, the existing edits, removing objects, to me that has been in the service of making the memory of capturing a memory as you saw it. And I think everybody has the license to do that in their photos, in their personal photos that they share to people or whatever. I think that has been fine. Changing making the sun a bit better. That was a last year's feature too. Changing the sky, making it not cloudy. That's a bit bordering what I think is acceptable, but again, that's still to me is fine. But here, with Reimagine, getting a prompt to completely change an aspect of the photo, that to me isn't a photo anymore. It's a render. It's you're a real memory. It's art more than reality.
Yeah, I find it strange. I find it strange because I agree with you in the sense that Google probably needs to make it clearer when things are AI generated. I know there's a little bit of an issue at the moment with that because some of them look so, like, you can make a change that can look so realistic unless you really start to pixel peep and zoom in to the nth degree. And most people are never going to do that on a small screen anyway.
No.
So I think there's probably going to be issues surrounding that in the future unless something gets changed in the next few weeks, which, again, I don't doubt because there will be uproar about it, which is always in some ways good because it forces a company to make changes. It probably should be putting that in the metadata after a change is made. There's nothing obvious that I can see that says.
And at this point, I think there should be a physical marker on the photo because the people aren't going to look at metadata. There should be a distinct, non-offensive marker. Put a sparkle in the corner and just make it barely visible, but just put it there. So it's like, as a society, we need a quick shorthand. That's
obviously more of a moral thing, but like in terms of the actual feature, have you been using it? Because I've tried it a little bit, and it is very, very impressive. Again, it's very, very impressive, but I'm just trying to work out why do I personally need this? I guess some people might have different opinions of it, but have you tried doing anything with it?
Comment about it is that I have a love and hate relationship with prompts, and I don't think it's an efficient UI. I think a blank text box is pretty daunting to most people, but that has been the main interface for Gen AI for so far. And to me, I think a guided UI is so much more helpful. At the same time, I recognize that it lets you say what you want and add it. That's a very natural thing to do. And I absolutely see the value there. But at the same time, I don't think putting a box into everything, including Google Photos, is the best for editing something. Is the best possible UI for that.
I think, I agree with you in that respect because it can be a bit daunting in the respect that you don't know what to change. But at the same time, I'm like, with this application, Magic Editor felt like you were giving people I wouldn't necessarily call them high level, but fairly intermediate Photoshop techniques in their phone, and the results were pretty impressive. I think with this generative AI part of Reimagine, you're unleashing this on people who don't necessarily know how to make edits in general, and then they will make changes and be like, either they will be very impressed or they'll be very disappointed. I don't think there's any going to be a middle ground. And playing around with it, sometimes you get something that looks incredible, and you'll be like, "How is this even possible?" And other times you're like, that was terrible. What's going on there? How has the AI come to this conclusion?
Especially in the context of your photos, it's image generation is more excusable in Pixel Studio because that's the app for it. But in the context of photos, it's your stuff. You know when something messes up.
Yeah, maybe this is something that could have been spun off and put into its own separate section. I feel, again, whereas we're trying to find a home for Pixel Studio, this doesn't feel like it's at home in Google Photos, at least to me.
No.
So I can't imagine you're going to be using Reimagine all that often.
No, not for me, anyways.
No. Okay, so that probably covers a lot of the software. The only
call notes. Let's talk
about call notes quickly before we dip off. Yeah,
call notes to me is like Pixel screenshots. The underlying thing that people have wanted for ages is call recording and call transcript.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that it's not very funny. This is the year that everybody decided that call recording is fine. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's, to my knowledge, not. The legal side hasn't really changed, at least in the States. So the fact that it's happening at everybody, Android and iOS is doing it, is kind of funny, but neither here nor there. I don't feel so when you activate call notes, you have to activate it every single time, which I don't think is a bad idea. There's a voice that says, "Hi, your call notes is active," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is not enough as a disclosure. even with you, when I've been testing it with you and Ben, I'm like, I'm going to turn on call notes. I'm saying it explicitly before I do it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is weird because obviously as soon as that notification is in your ear or whatever it is, I think you feel more hyper aware of what's going on in the call. That makes sense. I think that's from my perspective I did. I mean, what did you think of the summaries that it put out? I know I don't have the strongest accent, but I still have an accent nonetheless. And I hope that people could understand what I'm saying right now. But did you find that it was pulling the right information and the key information and stuff? Because I feel like if a long call, really.
No, you've seen the transcripts of our call, the summaries of our calls. It's not. I kind of want to say we're talking about complex things, but it's still in the realm of, I don't know, maybe if it's like more basic, if it's like a single topic conversation, maybe it does better. But right now, I don't think it's there yet. But again, I think the real value is the transcription of it.
Yeah, the transcription aspect is of more interest to me, especially if you're on a conference call. But the summaries did seem a little bit off and kind of added in a little bit extra context that we weren't mentioning. So yeah, I'm on the fence about that. I'm not a person who makes a lot of phone calls anyway, so there's not much usage to me in my day-to-day existence normally. So probably one of those features I'll probably give a miss for the most part. But I think in terms of the overall experience, my biggest disappointment is it's running Android 14. I know that Android 15 is not a huge upgrade, but it has been a little bit disappointing to have a brand new device running last year's update. Obviously, I'd imagine that's something to do with the time frame, but it's been running all right. How do you think in terms of performance then? Pretty good so far?
Performance has been pretty fine. Again, Android 15 is not the biggest release, and some stuff is backported, but I don't know, it would have been nice if the new volume panel was on this phone at launch. But otherwise, it could have been. It's the principle of the matter. Google's newest phone should have the newest version of Android. It comes down to that.
Yeah, I think then again, if anyone's switching, they probably wouldn't know anyway, because most people are going to switch from a device that might be running an older version anyway. So yeah, I think we are very much in the middle phase of reviewing these devices. I think there's still lots more to come. We have obviously the XL review will be coming in the next few weeks as well. That'll be slightly different to the Pro, even though for all intents and purposes they are the same device, apart from a bigger battery and a bigger screen, slightly faster charging. But yeah, it's really interesting to have two devices, same size, same core internals, and a few little changes. So like I said before, I think with the regular Pixel 9 Pro, you can definitely have your cake and eat it this year with a smaller device. The power's overall pretty impressive as well in such a small package. But yeah, if you have any questions as well for our reviews, or you want to know anything when we do get to reviewing the full deep dives into every minutia, yeah, by all means let us know. And it's been a tiring week. We're going to have obviously more Pixel releases. We have the Fold to come. We have the Pixel Watch 3 to come. The Buds, the Google TV streamer later down the line. There is a lot of Pixel coming, and
busy
Google.
Month, busy September.
It is a busy September, but yeah. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little kind of chit chat, talking through one of the latest Pixel phones, specifically the Pro. I want to say thanks as well for joining me, Abner. I know it's been a tiring week, and I'm currently propped up on Monster Energy at the moment, so yeah, everything feels like a blur. But yeah, just want to say thanks, guys, for listening, and yeah, we will speak to you soon. See you next time.
Bye.